In the closing years of the 18th century, as the United States emerged from war and settlers pushed into the wilderness, a new phenomenon emerged in the young republic: fraternal and secret societies. Organizations whose members met in hidden rooms, swore oaths, adopted symbols, and bound themselves to mutual aid, and in some cases wielded influence beyond what the public record reveals. Tonight, we journey into that shadowy world, exploring the rise of these societies in early America, the artifacts they left behind, and the unsettled questions about what they meant. What if some of these lodges did more than fellowship and charity? What if they quietly shaped migration routes, land transfers, and frontier justice? The evidence is fragmentary, but compelling. To understand these groups, we must first appreciate the landscape. In the decades after 1776, the United States rapidly expanded. Migrating settlers, new territories opening, law and order thin in many places. Into this terrain came organizations offering structure, identity, and connection. One of the best documented is the Freemasons. Freemasonry had established itself in the American colonies by the mid-1700s. For instance, Benjamin Franklin served as Grand Master of a Philadelphia lodge in 1734. Fraternal groups borrowed from Masonic ritual, symbolism, and structure. Initiations, secret passwords, badges, lodge halls. As the historian W.S. Harwood noted, by the late 19th century, there were millions of members in the United States. Consider this artifact, a carved wooden badge, emblazoned with the skull and crossbones symbol used by the Independent Order of Odd Fellows. The IOOF established its first American lodge in 1819 in Baltimore. Fraternal artifacts like this underscore that these organizations were more than clubs. They were dynamic, structured networks with ritual, identity, and shared purpose. But here's where the shadows creep in. What happens when such networks exist in frontier territories where official authority is weak, where records are sparse, where settlers, merchants, and traders move across rivers, forests, and unsettled land? In places like early 19th century Ohio, Kansas, and western Pennsylvania, historians have found that secret societies offered mutual aid, social networks, and even functioned in lieu of formal institutions. These elements create a fertile ground for speculation. Could some lodges have extended into regulating settlement flows, land deals, migration routes, quietly, invisibly? Imagine, then, a lodge hidden among cabins in a frontier valley. Men meet at midnight. They swear mutual loyalty. They receive tokens. They agree to protect each other, perhaps help each other get land, cross rivers, settle claims. That scenario is speculative, but rooted in plausible context. We know such groups existed. We know that in remote areas, settlers turned to each other rather than formal courts. We know fraternal orders used symbols and ritual to bind membership. One documented example, in Franklin County, Ohio, the local museum records how secret and fraternal societies hosted many of the elaborate medals, pins, hats, stoles that played an important role in the ceremony and pageantry of these secret societies. Furthermore, a 2012 cipher manuscript discovery revealed an 18th century secret society in Europe, showing that coded lodges, hidden rites, and symbolic power were very real. Now, imagine a lodge that crosses into frontier settlement, a network that spans river towns, cabins, outposts. Through it, certain individuals gain access to routes, to resources, to settlement opportunities. Others don't. Perhaps the lodge collects a token, monitors who comes and goes, quietly enforces its own code. In the absence of strong formal government, such a network could exert real influence. While we have no documented case of such a network exactly as described, the surrounding pieces, fraternal societies, frontier mobility, weak institutional oversight, are historical fact. Let me share one illustrative case. The Patriotic Order Sons of America, PA, founded in Philadelphia in 1847. It began as a youth feeder for a broader fraternal society and opposed unrestricted immigration. Another, the German Order of Harugari, founded in New York in 1847 for German-American immigrants, a secret-style society with lodges in many states. These confirm that by mid-19th century, the United States had multiple lodge networks operating across states, with rituals, lodges, symbols. This is where fact and fiction blur. We do know secret societies existed. We do know fraternal networks were widespread. We do know frontier America had weak oversight and vulnerable settlements, but we do not have solid historical evidence of a nationwide clandestine lodge controlling settlement flows. What we have is the pattern, the ritual badges, the lodge halls, the symbols, the memberships, the mutual aid networks. We know from sources that fraternal orders were huge. Historian J.C. Hardin estimated 5.4 million members by 1897. We also know that this social architecture could be repurposed for business, for influence, for power. So tonight, we offer you this question. What if among the visible lodges of men and mutual aid, there rose a hidden lodge, operating across the frontier in the mid-1780s to early 1800s, whose aim was not just fellowship, but influence? What if their tokens marked more than initiation, but access? What if their code enforced more than ritual, but territory? The evidence is thin. The archival trail fades, but the convergence of frontier expansion, plus fraternal network, plus weak formal authority suggests the possibility. And the artifacts remain. Badges, ledger fragments, cabin marks, symbols carved into logs. Today, historians examine the objects, the Odd Fellows skull and crossbones plaques, the Scottish Rite Masonic paintings, the banners, magic lantern slides, printed lithographs. These relics remind us secret societies were real. They mattered, and they left a tangible imprint on American culture. The interplay between hidden networks and visible settlement remains underexplored. The frontier is gone. The cabins have decayed. The trading posts vanished. But the question lingers. In the age when land was new, law was distant, and movement was vast, who held the keys? If you walk through an old settlement, look for carved symbols, ledger fragments, hidden lodges. Imagine the men who exchanged secret bows in dim cabins, who traded tokens at midnight, who navigated the wilderness under hidden codes. The official history may not record them, but sometimes the artifacts, the symbols, and the gaps in the record tell their story instead. Thank you for joining us on this journey into America's hidden past. If you'd like more exploration of secret organizations, unexplained artifacts, and frontier mysteries, subscribe, ring the bell, and turn the torch toward the darkness. Until next time, keep your eyes open, for history often hides in plain sight.